Showtimes, visit fathomevents.com.
Hi, well, I'm here with Connie Field, and we're going to be looking at documentaries tonight. I love documentaries.
Yes, and what's great about the lineup that you have is that every one of those documentaries is a different documentary form, especially Araya, which is, I think, one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And in Harlan County, that's what we call Verite, and those were cameras you could carry around and go in the field and just follow action and what was going on. My film, Rosie, fits in what I call the oral history tradition, told by the people who lived it. And Portrait of Jason was the only film at that time that was a single character portrait.
Shocking. It's pretty startling.
Yeah.
Well, talk about an arc of film.
Yes.
Well, the movie we're going to start off with, Araya, as you said, startlingly beautiful images, very poetic. Women have a great sense of composition, I find, and one of the things that's interesting is in some of the films we've been seeing, when women, they move from documentaries to narrative films, or when they couldn't make narrative films, they made documentaries. And here's a film where she was just given complete access to, you know, these men working in a salt marsh, and how you make a salt marsh look beautiful and capture their way of life, I thought was really beautiful.
But it is visually beautiful, if you can imagine, especially in black and white. It wouldn't have been as stunning in color.
Yes,
there's really a quality about those black and white images, and especially of salt. And you get all these geometric forms that are in the landscape, and it's a very harsh landscape, but it's really extraordinary. And
some of the, you know, again, the style of the film, I don't know, there's a rhythmic quality. It reminded me a little bit of the film I Am Cuba. I'm not sure why, maybe just because of the culture was just so startlingly different, and the photography is beautiful, and some of the music, and there's just, you know, lots of beautiful scenes. But it begins, and, you know, when it says the sweat and the salt, and they will, you know, you see, you go like, wow, this is going to be, that's their whole life is
it was their whole life, because this film is happening at the cusp of mechanization taking place. So what she ended up capturing was probably some of the last moments of a type of work that people did for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yes. And some of those, as I said, some of these beautiful shots with the rhythmically breaking down the salt. And this is a film, I mean, you know, she certainly was a trailblazer. I don't know how many women were making movies like this in the 50s. And the movie came out to great acclaim, and then it kind of disappeared. I
think probably because they didn't know at that historical time what to do with a film like this, and so it didn't get a theatrical distribution, which is what you would do with a film like this. So I think that's why it kind of ended up disappearing. And then also, you know, she changed her life. She actually went on to sort of found the film industry in Venezuela and opened the first film school, and she kind of really dedicated her life to that after this film.
It's a shame that she never made another film after Araya, because with such a startling kind of sense of composition, I wonder, you know, what other films that she would have made. But as you said, she became an educator. And
you know, what I just thought of is that maybe it's because that film was so perfect.
Interesting.
And it's very hard as a filmmaker when you've done something that you know is really good.
Yes.
And you know you can't top yourself. So that could also be part of it, because this film was perfect.
It certainly was. Well, I'm really excited to see this film from 1959. Here is the TCM premiere of Margot Benicera's Araya.